What's up, Canes fam? It's Spiked Rob, and we are back talking about Georgia Tech. But of course, this is all about prepping for FSU rivalry week and beating the shit out of the Noles. So we should have beat the shit out of Georgia Tech last week, and we gave them way too many chances. So hopefully, by going over what happened and figuring out how to improve, we're not going to make those mistakes against FSU, or if we are, we're going to make them a lot less, because the mistakes that we made, they were splash plays to say the least. So let's get into it. Obviously, we ended up with a victory, but it was not easy. And we're going to start off with a batted pass at the line of scrimmage. Why not? I guess it's better than a 15-yard sack to start the game, but still. Play action, blocked right at the line. I mean, again, it could be worse, but we keep finding out week to week how bad it can get. So then we do this kind of follow route with Keyshawn Smith off the left side, 12 yards and a first down. Fine. Can't say anything wrong with that. Keep an eye out on the formations as always. Nice balanced formations. Charleston Rambo, 1 yard. This is what happens when you try to have Harley come around the end to block instead of having Mallory block. At the very least, it'd be hard for the defender to run right through Mallory, which is exactly what he did to Harley. Personnel choices continue to be somewhat iffy. I think that Lashley's locked in a little bit more, but we have multiple times throughout this game where Mallory just doesn't block on purpose. They just decide not to have him block, but he's out there, big body, and we're having Harley try to block instead. Okay, -1 yard loss. Passing complete for Knighton. This play was stupid. If your name is De'Ara King, this is a award-winning play. This is the thing that breaks open the game against Louisville last year. Nobody is going for the play action QB draw by Tyler Van Dyke. Not one person. You've never actually run the QB draw with Tyler Van Dyke. So he doesn't inspire fear of the run when you look at him. That's kind of what makes him so good at the run, is nobody expects him to run. But instead you do this overloaded quad formation, cover up the tight end to the left, then you motion out Jalen to the right, and you try to get him in space. I get the idea. Again, it's all eye candy to the left 90% of the time. But to then throw in the extra layer of Tyler Van Dyke's going to run the ball, fuck off. This is not going to happen. 2nd and 11, really? Just stop. So 3rd and 11, because of a wasted play, go spread, pass to the left, incomplete, but they get the guy for Georgia Tech. I mean, kind of ticky-tacky, but we'll take the first down. But don't worry, karma comes right back, because we run out of the stack formation's fine. It's the pistol formation, or the extended pistol formation, whatever the fuck that gun is. That's not shotgun and not, I don't know, rifle formation, I guess. I don't know. It's garbage. I hate it. Putting Knighton behind Van Dyke, even further back, he's like at least 7-8 yards off the line when the ball is snapped. He has so much further to run, and he does all this movement just to get back to the line of scrimmage. This does not work. I don't know how many times I have to scream about it here and see it on Twitter. Everybody thinks it's still reasonable to do. Fortunately, I believe this is the only time we see this formation. I just don't know what Lashley's thinking of even having it in his playbook, but whatever. So 2nd and 10, complete to Jacoby George, 20 yards. Love it. Play action right over the middle. We gouged the middle of the field against these guys. All day did we gouge the middle. It was the deep passes on the outside that were iffy, and it was weird because Van Dyke has the arm strength to make those passes. It was like he was trying to place the ball too much. He wasn't just throwing it. That's what it seemed like to me. I'm not a quarterback, but I know that all of the passes that go over the middle of the field were very accurate, very on point. The ones deep were about 50-50. So 20 yards there. Then Romello Brinson, 19 yards. If it works, why not run it again? So just so you guys keep an eye out, it's the same formation, trips right, but we do the play action from left to right on the play to George, and then right to left to throw to Romello Brinson. Not unreasonable, because the passes are so deep. When they're 10 plus yards down the field through the air, doing a play action in the direction that you want to throw the ball works for me because it still has to pull the linebackers in a little bit so that they're, not 10 yards off the ball. So that works. When you're trying to do a quick like slant pass in the same direction, you're pulling the linebackers right into the throwing lane. So that at least was switched up. I like it. This is very, very close to our bread and butter play at this point. Of course, we haven't really run the ball yet, but defenses are still acknowledging the dangerousness that is Jalen Knighton. So, and actually at this point, I don't even think Knighton was out there. But just the idea that they have to acknowledge the run, it really does open up the rest of the field. So good stuff. All right. Now, speaking of the run, we do double stacks. We do this formation shit ton in this game. Not a fan. You're locking up your receivers and tight end in this case into two slots, basically. Instead of doing the power spread, which is the entire purpose of this offense, you're basically saying two islands, and then don't worry, we have 5 linemen to block however many guys you put in the box because we have Jalen Knighton. Okay, I guess so. When Knighton goes outside the tackle and he's able to break it outside and uses incredible speed and acceleration, yeah, it's worth 14 yards. Absolutely. We'll see what happens when we try to do that later. Oh, and then we follow up with an even worse formation. This one, where you still do the island, but you move the receivers off the line because you have your tight end on the line. It means that the island isn't even close enough to do those quick, basically rub routes to make any difference because both receivers have to run at least 3 yards down the field. If you're the one behind the lead receiver, you got to run at least 5 yards down the field before you can even be in plus territory. So you have to do that first before you could do any quick motions because of the way the formation is set up. Absolute garbage. The only thing you can do out of that formation is either a screen play to the right, kind of, but again, you're starting off the line, or you run to the left because, again, it's all about eye candy right, run the other way. Jalen gets 5 yards out of it. Again, because he just has incredible speed and acceleration. As the game wears on, we'll see how it slows him up because he gets banged up, he gets tired, and we don't have anybody else on the roster who can just say, hey, go one-on-one with every defender pretty much, and we expect you to win that battle one-on-one because our linemen aren't going to block everybody. We're not even going to try. We're just going to create enough space for you to make moves and get out of the way, basically, and make progress. That works for literally one person on our roster. But here we go back to it. Why not? Now it's a 1 yard gain. Why? Because he couldn't bounce it outside. And now it's just mano y mano, 5 on God knows how many people they have. I think they had actually 6 in the box. So shockingly, he gets 1 yard because this formation is so limiting. You take 4 receivers and you make them 2 receivers for purposes that the defense has to worry about. So dumb. But it's okay. Oh, and let's keep an eye out as well. With the prior run before that with Knighton, 14 yards, we get into the red zone. So, hey, how are we doing? 5 yards there, 1 yard there. 3rd and 4, and we finally go to the play that should always be the play inside the red zone. Pass to Mike Harley, 8 yards for a touchdown. This one wasn't the out route that we run a lot. It was more of a fade route, but it was off rub routes from Harley in the slot. Still pinpoint accurate, still beautiful body control, great catch by Harley in small spaces. This is where he thrives. Harley is money when it comes to catching the ball in small spaces and just having to come down with it especially in the end zone. That's what he is just excellent at, incredible at. That is his 3rd touchdown catch of the year from Van Dyke in same exact play call or setup anyway, same exact space, same exact area of the field. So why does he only have 3 when we end up kicking field goals 1/3 of the time when we actually score inside the red zone? We are still currently 80th in red zone offense, people, and that's an improvement from when we were 100th in the nation. Yeah, I guess we do better in this game, but not really. Red zone, we do go 1 for 1. Beautiful. This is exactly how you want to draw it up. It never happens the rest of the game. So get the ball back, 7-0. Get the ball on the 42-yard line. Jalen Knighton, 25 yards for a first down. And again, eye candy left, run right, great blocking, incredible blocking by Rambo to basically run a route into the safety and just kind of fall over with his shoulder. So there's no way he could get called for a blindside block like he did in previous games, but still springs him. It's just fucking brilliant. Best play by Rambo all day, in my opinion, was that block. 25 yards. All right. Now here we are 33 at the 33-yard line. Pass incomplete. He overthrew his receiver again, kind of a 50-50. Just people weren't on the same page today. I think because maybe they this is the letdown game. Georgia Tech's not very scary. We're playing at home. This pass sailed. So Knighton runs for a loss of 2 yards. And this was, again, eye candy. I hate it so much. He runs right into the back of, right into the back of fucking Mallory. And we've got, again, the eye candy, Brian behind. Everybody's thinking we're going to go to the right. That's great. But if you're starting your tight end off the line with the expectation that he's going to block anybody off the line, then you're setting yourself up for failure. Again, he has to block twice as far as the offensive lineman, and he's not as big, in order to catch up to the offensive lineman and create a lane for Knighton to go anywhere. It's terrible, terrible formation design when you're trying to do it. I get the idea. Fine. Your structure is shit. So not surprising that he goes -2 yards. Again, if Knighton doesn't have space, he's not going to excel more times than not. He will make it happen because he's a tough runner and he's a great player, but you're capping his potential. So 3rd and 12, 35-yard line. It's okay because Rambo's left wide open, right? Yeah, sure. Offense is working great. Again, this shit formation, and it's just wide open. Well, kind of. You notice that it works on the side where the receivers are closer to the line, not on the side with Mallory. But also, Georgia Tech just literally forgot about him. The corner lets him go past him because he thinks he has safety help. And then the safety decides to go after Restrepo, who was the lead receiver. He wasn't anywhere near Restrepo. He just decided to turn around. I mean, I know 365 Kane's Info has done very detailed breakdowns of these plays. So you can obviously check that out and get the full breakdown because Steve-O does a great job. But the idea here is that, yeah, the play worked out great, but it's because the defense just basically said, we won't play defense on this play. So, okay, that works. But it's not, you can't expect the defense to continue to not play defense for the rest of the game. So we'll take the 14-0 lead. Georgia Tech gets it back, or gets a 7 yards or 7 points on the board back. So then we do the pop pass to Burchard, loss of 2. The reason why is because you're expecting Jalen Knighton. And also, I put, as always, when Larry Hodges, excellent athletic talent, he's not a tight end. They put him in line like he's a tight end. Shockingly, he doesn't block very well. I didn't say they did a terrible job, but you just had nobody on the field who was going to seal a block for you so that Burchard could actually get out there. Instead, if there's nobody actually getting blocked, I don't care how fast you are. That's why they have fucking out of bounds, right? Burchard can only go so far before he has to turn back in, and he gets brought down because literally no one blocked. So I was sad that we didn't see this again later in the game, especially in the fourth quarter when Georgia Tech's defense was banged up, tired, all of that stuff. Barely saw Burchard the rest of the game. I don't know if he himself was banged up or not, but it's just a problem. So anyway, incomplete pass intended for Larry Hodges. This isn't on Larry. This is on Van Dyke trying to muscle it in there because he's Tyler Van Dyke and he could throw it anywhere he wants. Georgia Tech had about 3 guys in the area, so that was probably not the right guy to throw to. And I think the idea, again, is that no one's going to cover the tight end because, he's not the primary concern for the defense. But again, you put Larry Hodges out there, he looks like a fucking receiver to me. Every time I see him on the field, I think he's just another receiver, a slightly taller one perhaps, but I'm not looking at him and thinking, I don't need to worry about this guy. He's skinny, he's tall, he's very athletic. Anyway. But at the end of the day, it was a poor decision on Van Dyke, not necessarily the play design. So another penalty bails us out. Again, karma builds up on this one, obviously. Roughing the passer, guy got in the game and basically manhandled the face mask. They don't even have to call it roughing the passer. It was just literally a face masking penalty for 15 yards. But again, Keyshawn was out there. He almost caught it. They went on islands all day, and they said, "Come and beat us." And we tried. I would give us credit for that. But just today, Tyler's passes were slightly off, and he wasn't the only one. Sims for Georgia Tech, his passes are way off all day too. So might have been something to do with the ball, the environment, or just they had a bad day. I don't know. But I was outside of the hash mark, iffy, a little too far for him because we would have gotten 15 yards on top of the catch. But that's okay. It's all good because we hit Rambo for 37 yards on play action right across the middle, money, and then he fumbles all the way downfield because he's trying to get every yard possible. I get that. But come on, man. You can't plan around that, right? As a offensive coordinator, you can't plan on your guy fumbling there. So then you say, okay, it's all right. Rambo's a good player. He'll end up with a shit ton of yards. No reason why we can't keep him in. Let's run a different play. Next play, we're going to do the play action, roll out, flip it to the tight end. Elijah Arroyo works like a charm. Great. And then he fumbles downfield trying to get extra yards, literally back-to-back plays. And we don't see this play until deep into the fourth quarter for no fucking reason. So let's talk about our opening. This is just so frustrating because we come out incredibly aggressive. And it's almost like we don't realize that the other team is out there to play football too. Like we're shocked that they're actually trying to knock the ball out after we get a great play. Like why would you try and punch the ball out? You should just stop us from getting the ball in the first place. Well, they can't. They're not that good in terms of talent. But hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. We weren't securing the ball twice in a row and just thinking we could run over these guys. There's no reason for it. If we were fighting for a first down, sure. Fighting for yards after the catch after you have 20, 30, 40 yards is being greedy. So the Siberian Gambit is something that Black does as a counter to White's initial Gambit, where they become super aggressive, and White has all these players out there already out in the field. We're developing everybody. Everybody's getting action, fine. And Black goes, that's great. They have only deployed 2 guys, technically 3 guys, and White has like 4 or 5 pieces already out in play. Black decides, nice and simple, they're going to be aggressive and attack White's form position. White tries to deflect it by, again, being aggressive, going after Black's piece and saying, you got to move it or I'm going to take it. And Black says, that's great. I now am threatening your queen. So by being overly aggressive, White allows Black to basically win the entire game. Either because this knight is now threatening the queen, either White lets it happen and the queen is taken, or White decides to take and Black wins the game. That's checkmate. So this is a great gambit. It's excellent. And it's basically what Georgia Tech decided to do, which is, well, we're not going to be able to beat you in terms of yards, but we are going to be able to beat you in terms of money plays. Knock the ball out. Recover the fumble. Not just cause it. Be on top of the ball. Be ball hawks. Worked like a fucking charm. So it doesn't mean that the game's over, obviously, though we do have yet another fumble coming. It's that White, what should have been an advantage for White, a big-time advantage, by being overly aggressive, White gives it away. In this particular setup, yeah, losing the queen's really bad. But you get 2 of Black's pieces for a queen. Black no longer has any, aggressive winning chances. Is it the end of the world? No, but it's going to be a lot tougher game for no fucking reason because we decided to be overly aggressive. So, anyway, moving on from that morality, we get the ball back and it's now 14-14 because we literally gave Georgia Tech the ball multiple times. So, yeah, shockingly, we don't do great. All right, so Knighton runs off the edge for 1 yard. I believe that there is a motion in this play trying to run one way, run back the other. Again, everyone's focusing on Knighton. They do it the entire game. That's why the play action passes are wide the fuck open the entire game. So the extra eye candy is unnecessary. Now, hindsight's 20/20, but it just, we're running to the left side. Mallory just doesn't block very well. I mean, it is what it is. So then here, Van Dyke hits Keyshawn in the hands, and he drops it. So maybe that was a great pass by Van Dyke outside of the hash marks, and Keyshawn drops it. So kind of, again, 50-50, maybe not all on Van Dyke, but even when the pass is perfect, we get a drop. 3rd and 11. We complete it to Will Mallory. This one was a much shorter pass. It wasn't like he ran his route just shy of the first down. He ran it for the 5 yards. We actually ran multiple guys short of the first down marker. That I don't like at all. Again, we have this cluster here. We're trying to leap Mallory across the field, which he does well. And he gets into the soft spot behind the zone, which is unusual just because Georgia Tech played man for most of the game. But it worked. But he was still 5 yards short of the first down. And then he tries to basically make it to the first down. Doesn't dive, doesn't sell out his body because he doesn't want to fumble again. And he ends up a yard short. So we decide to punt from our own 34-yard line on 4th and 1. Keep track at home, kids. That's the first 4th and 1 of the game. So, we'll fucking see what happens. So we end up punting. They don't score because their offense really was very weak. They just had a couple home run plays. But here we go. 44 yards, Charleston Rambo to the Georgia Tech 10 for a first down. This play was just straight at me again. More eye candy in the back, blah, blah, blah. Oh, are we going to do stuff? There wasn't even much of a play action. It was just Rambo burns them deep. Good. The point of the eye candy, right, is to slow everybody down, especially the safeties in the middle of the field, to slow them up just enough so that Rambo gets free down the field. Okay, I'm not gonna argue with these results. So, and that one was a perfect pass to Rambo in stride. So then, here we are. I didn't change it, but we are inside the red zone again. Hooray! 1 yard lost. Where do we run Knighton? We try to run him off the tackle. Again, we just get beat up on the blocking on that side. I mean, you can't win them all, I guess. But so then we come back with the same formation, but we bring the tight end to the right. We split out the wide receiver to the left, but still trips. And now Knighton's on the other side. And this time he decides to go for Restrepo in the end zone, who, again, double covered. My thing is, why are we not throwing it to Harley? Why are we not doing essentially the same formation that we did before, where Harley is running and out towards the sideline and it's open? Again, Harley and Van Dyke are in sync on this. He showed it earlier in the game. He isn't even on the field as far as I can tell, because I believe in this one, it's Keyshawn on one side, Rambo on the other, and then it's Mallory and Restrepo. So Harley's not even on the field in the area that he's best at. I wouldn't call him a one-trick pony, but this is his best trick. Why do you not put him in a position to use it? I don't know. So then here, we scrunch the formation. Rambo decides to cut off his route, even though it's 3rd and goal. And, Van Dyke, not surprisingly, is like, well, I'm throwing it to the end zone because we need a touchdown. And Rambo cuts off the route early, maybe because he thinks he's going to outmuscle the guy from Georgia Tech into the end zone. I don't know. It was very odd and it's a choice route. So it's kind of hard as a coach to say that was a bad play call when you're putting the choice in your players' hands and they just don't read it the same way. So I think in that case, you shouldn't call a choice route if really the whole point is you got to run into the fucking end zone, try and score a touchdown. I think that's the answer. So, hey, we settle for a field goal. So we are technically 100% in red zone, but we kicked one field goal and scored from very short. And I mean, it was 28 yards and scored a touchdown. So we kick a field goal. They score a touchdown. This is how football works. 7 points are better than 3. Then Jalen gets the ball right at the beginning of the set or midway through the second quarter, runs for 8 yards, flying downfield. It gets punched out from behind. I mean, that ball flew an extra 5 yards in the air, caught by the guy, Jalen King, who then returns it for 40 yards for a touchdown. I will say after this game, if we're not working on our scramble drills, obviously ball security as well, but scramble drills in general, we didn't have any sort of coverage on the opening kickoff, on several of the kickoffs, actually. We didn't have any way of stopping this here because, again, we ran that crack block, even though it wasn't really a crack block. off the end there by Rambo. So Rambo runs inside, Jalen runs around him, and there's nobody from Miami outside of the hashes. So it's an easy 40-yard return because none of us are getting out there in time. Nobody on our team is coming from the left side. Again, eye candy, throw everybody to the left. You don't expect the fumble to happen. You don't expect a return, but your guys have to be prepared on what to do, how to shut down those returns, so at least they're not returned for touchdowns. Again, I say that like it's easy, like they don't have enough to worry about, but these are scramble drills. This is just what you learn pursuit angles. I don't know. That's what we did in high school anyway. Okay, so we get the ball back. Again, it ends up being said we actually get the ball back, but then it's at 7 yards because 7 points, which is greater than 3, because we can't fucking stop returns. I almost guarantee that if we had stopped Georgia Tech from making the return for the touchdown, we probably would have kept them out of the end zone because their offense was worse than ours. And our defense really was holding firm in small spaces. But it's really hard for the defense to do anything when you just give up massive returns. So anyway, 17-21, still in the second quarter. Run for 2 yards through the middle. Basically, it's just banging away there in between the tackles. Great 2-yard run in a cloud of dust. Then this one, intended for Keyshawn, outside of the hash mark, not on target. So, and I'll complete the low alley for 20 yards for a first down to kind of make it up for that yet another 3rd and long situation down the middle of the field. Money. Again, in hindsight, it's easy to see, but even during the game, at this point, Van Dyke has missed 3 or 4 passes outside of the hashes. Now he's hit some too, but he's roughly about 50%. Every pass over the middle has been on the fucking money. Even if it leads to a fumble or whatever down the field, he's on point. So, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, run that dive through the middle. And again, it's that step back. It's not even a counter play. It's just kind of a delay. It's a delay handoff, even though there's no real delay because he's waiting to see how the line opens up so he can choose where to go on the zone blocking scheme. He made a good decision there. But again, it's midway through the second quarter. So perhaps it becomes harder for him down the line. Now here, run for 5 yards to the Georgia Tech 45. He runs down the field. Because we have Mallory off the line yet again, what they start doing instead is, instead of having him run up and try to block up on the line, they start pulling him across the formation to kind of quote unquote wham block and create more of a channel for Knighton to run through. I like the concept. It's really just, again, more eye candy because that's all Ashley's about is eye candy. It doesn't really lead to greater blocking. It just creates more space. In and of itself, still a bonus, still really good. But there are times later in this game where the concept gets taken way too far and Mallory just doesn't even try to block anybody from this point forward. He's out there as an H-back, again, the biggest guy outside of the offensive line to block for someone. And he starts kind of just being told, I think, not to block anybody and just kind of Olay block everyone so that he can be open for a big time play later. Well, we'll see. This one, he's in line. So he's actually blocking 6 yards for first down, and this one's right through the middle of the line. Line did a good job of the blocks that they had, they kept. They didn't block everybody. They didn't try to double and get to the second level very often, if at all. But the people that they did block, they did contain. I didn't see really any instances where the line failed to hold a block. So, I mean, we'll see. But again, there were plenty of times when Georgia Tech sent too many people, and we still, were expected to make hay from that. This is one of those times he runs for 3 yards off the edge, and it's just pure speed. Like I said, it's not. He's really just trying to get the fuck out there before the defenders can get to him, and he does a good job. But again, because there's not really any blocking out there, it's just Knighton one-on-one, so he's using a ton of energy, and at the end, he's always getting walloped. He's not going down easy because it's Rooster. He's not going to go down without a fight, but he takes just a beating throughout this game. So 2nd and 7, false start by Jared Williams. He did flinch, and then Rambo gets the 17 yards for a first down, play action. This was right at the hash marks, so it wasn't really inside, wasn't really outside. It was kind of a post off of the play action. Again, it went 10 yards or 9 or 10 yards through the air, so it was deep enough that the play action was effective. And Rambo held on to the ball and got out there. So here we go. 1st and 10 from the Georgia Tech 24. Cody Brown runs for 1 yard, and we bring in Cody Brown because Roosters beat up. And we get this formation, this island formation, double island formation. I mean, we pull the guard and I believe center from, kind of backside, and we pull them into the quote unquote hole to do like a power run. And Cody waits for his blockers, like textbook, waits for your blockers to get in front of you, lets the pulling guard hit the hole, lets it all clear out, and he goes in. And by that time, Georgia Tech's already responded and their safeties come down and everybody's come down because you only have 5 blockers there. There's 11 guys on the fucking field, and you expect to make any sort of progress with half the guys not doing shit. It just doesn't make any sense. The formation makes 0 sense. But hey, it worked one time, so we should run it, I think, 6 times in one game. Just ridiculous. Now, a more standard formation, incomplete, intended for Rambo. This one, again, just sailed on him outside the hash marks. It just went about 3 yards too high. I don't know. And then this one, he gets flushed out and just has to throw it away. So we settle for a field goal, which goes off the upright because it just does. So not technically inside the red zone. So again, 100% from the red zone, 100% quote unquote. But we were right there. We're at the 20-something yard line, and we can't make any progress. It's just tough, guys. Like, we should be cashing in this shit every time. We should have a surefire way of getting to it. This far into the season, we know what we're good at. We know what we're not good at. This is one thing we're good at, which is just big splash plays for a shit ton of yards. So start off the second half down 21-17. Beautiful flea flicker. That was backwards. Jalen runs the ball, flicks it back to Van Dyke, who just bombs it, but doesn't actually bomb it. He, again, underthrows it a bit. I really think he was trying to just place these passes. The good news is that when you place a pass on a straight line, instead of having to angle it out to the right or left outside of the hashes, your receiver just stops running and it comes to him instead of having to change direction. So Rambo did a good job making sure he didn't overrun it. Still gets 60 yards. Georgia Tech 15-yard line for a first down. Good. I believe he almost fumbled there too, but he didn't, so that's good. Okay, 5 yards for Knighton here. And again, run off the edge because our tight end comes back the other way as a quote-unquote wham block, and it clears out all this space for Knighton. You could even see the splits of the receivers. They were further out so that there was just this empty space. And it's just, we're hoping the Georgia Tech linebacker is a step slow, which he always is because it's Knighton, and that he goes off of the tight end movement going back the other way, that he leaves the gap wide open. Knighton gets 5 yards there. Georgia Tech 10-yard line. He then runs for 8. And this one, he just goes right through the fucking middle. It was a beautiful blocking. Red Sea parting, great shit. So take a good look at it because that's the last time you're going to see this play work that effectively, really, for most of the rest of the game. But then we go right back to it on the 2-yard line, still from shotgun, because this is what we do. 1st and goal, instead of going under center and just hammering them, we decide that we can't do that or that we don't need to. So then we do the same exact play again. Knighton runs for 2 yards. And the biggest thing here, again, is that Mallory pulls across the formation to block basically no one, but he runs all the way across the formation so that there is nobody on that right side of the field. The line does a great job. Jared Williams completely seals it, and nobody's going to beat Knighton for a 2-yard gain to the end zone. No one's going to beat him there. He's just too fast. So it works when he's feeling good and he's in good shape and he's out there on the field, because he's the only person who can truly do that on a regular basis. Nobody else has that burst as a running back on our team. Maybe Brashard Smith, maybe. But again, usually we put him in formation. So let's talk about our middle game, but I'm actually going to talk about an end game strategy. And the reason why is because the flea flicker at the beginning and then just crushing from there, that is we needed that. It was big time, but also it's the last time we truly seem like we are in charge of this game. From here on out, this was our chance to basically put this game to bed, not just there, but following up on it, that momentum from it. And we need to follow through. And we don't do it. So this is our chance in the middle of the game to win it, basically seize momentum at home and just dominate the rest of the game. And because we don't do it, we miss this sort of mating pattern. We allow Georgia Tech to not only hang around, but we give them more opportunities to win the game and not just, whatever, tie the game at the end. So anyway, this is all checkmating patterns. They can happen at the end of the game, but more often than not, they're available in the middle game. You just have to look for them and be willing to make sacrifices. So in this particular case, we send, we'll say like a flea flicker, we send our running back up the middle to try and create some sort of devastation, forcing Black's queen to move. Fine. This then, we do it again, and we create a situation where the ballestra mate happens. Once this queen kind of has to move, because either the queen moves or she gets taken. As soon as that queen moves out of the way, you get the bishop here, putting the king in check, and the queen is already here, cutting off the king's escape. There is nowhere for him to run. It is checkmate. Good shit. But in order to do it, like I said, you have to go back and see that the moves are there in a relatively sketchy position, but there's a bunch of pieces on the board still. You have to go for it. So yeah, we do go for it later, but we don't go for the killing blow. So here, let me show you what I mean. We get the ball back because, again, we allow them to score right after that. So it's now 20-24, even though we came out and did exactly what we needed to do. Complete to Harley for 6 yards. Play action, screen. So play action right, screen left. Beautiful. We ran that play twice all game. So we run it there. Knighton runs for 5 yards up the middle for a first down. Again, left, spread out the defense, try to make some space. And then right after that, we go right up the line again, and he has to scramble for 1 yard, which is, again, why are we not going back to just running quick screens off of this? This was a perfect opportunity to do that. You literally have Mallory there. You could do your bubble screen back the other way. It's there. But Van Dyke, instead, they do, again, get too fancy, and they're trying to fuck around too much. And so he ends up having to scramble for 1 yard. And so then Knighton runs 7 yards off right up the middle. Hey, there it is. We did part this Red Sea again. That was on the 44-yard line, not inside the red zone or inside a short yardage situation. But that's okay. Here we go. 3rd and 2. Cody Brown runs from 1 yard to the 45. Now, I want to very specifically show where we ran dive right up the middle. We move Mallory across the line of scrimmage. So this isn't off tackle. Okay. When Knighton ran for all of this out of the same formation and it was super effective, it was because you had Knighton, first of all, who's just faster than everybody else in a short burst. And you cleared out by exiting. You basically pull Mallory stage right so that there's this vacuum for Jalen to do his stuff. Here, you run Mallory to the right, where the run is also going for Cody Brown. He's going through the middle. And Mallory doesn't block anybody. He doesn't even try to kick out anyone, even though there's at least one guy. He's the one who made the tackle, but I believe there were 2 from Georgia Tech right there. And Mallory just olayed them. Like, he didn't even try to even put his hands out. He literally ran by them. Great. Wonderful. 1 yard, 3rd and 2. Why the fuck not? So then, I didn't even change it. 4th and 1. We try to go for it, and he runs for 1 yard as well. What the fuck did I do here? Yeah, 3rd and 2, 1 yard. And then we try to run. That's what it was. He tried to dive over the fucking line. And if the point of running this play was so that nobody looked at Mallory, because trust me, nobody looked at Mallory on this play. Why would you not go up to the line, run it again, but this time do the play action and just flip it to Mallory for first down? Why come out in this formation, totally different, and it's 4th and 1. Why are you not going under center? If you're going to go big, quote unquote, then fucking go under center and do it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, there was strategy here, but it wasn't executed at all. It's so frustrating to watch because you watch Lashley set all this stuff up, and it's like you're playing a fucking video game and you've got your superpower primed and ready and you just don't use it. You just continue to flail away uselessly while you're down 4 points against a team who only scored 4 touchdowns because you had 3 fumbles and also gave up a shit ton of other stuff on special teams. So anyway, doesn't matter. They don't score because they don't have any offense. So I guess Lashley knew he'd get another bite at the apple. So here we go. Xavier Restrepo, 9 yards, play action, throw, middle of the field, boom. How many times more we do that? Oh, well, this time we do the play action. And because they blitzed Van Dyke right away, what they started doing was going after Van Dyke instead of the play action. They still came downhill. They just went at the quarterback instead of the receiver, just in case he held onto the ball. And this one, he scrambles around and gets 1 yard. Great. So knowing that, we try to do something else, not a quick screen out to the left to basically stop them from just going all out at our quarterback. We don't run those plays at all. Instead, he runs all the way out there to quote unquote be sacked. I mean, not really. It was a scramble for -1 instead of scramble for +1. On first down, that's fine. 2nd and 11, complete for 8 yards in the 50-yard line. Hey, there's the screenplay, and it worked for 8 yards. Great. Do we see it again anywhere? I don't think so. He does scramble here, 8 yards again. We didn't run the screen the other way. This formation was a little funky because Mallory was deep for some reason. Even though, again, if you want to run, even pretend to run the screenplay, he should be closer to the line. But what do I know? All right, Knighton runs for 5 yards. And this is, again, on the 42-yard line. So we're still in the middle of the field. Plenty of space for him to kind of get out there. We at least have our tight end on the line, so he's blocking fully as a blocker and not, some sort of H-back. And then we do my favorite fucking formation. Island stack on the left, but off the line because we have our tight end there. And Tad Franklin runs for 3 yards. You know why Tad Franklin runs for 3 yards? Again, they come right through the line. He literally ran the guy over. He bounced off of him, looked at him, and then kept going for another 3 yards. Otherwise, it would have been a 1 yard loss, most likely. With Jalen Knighton or even Cody Brown probably doesn't go well because those running backs aren't big like Thaddeus Franklin Jr. Only carry the game for Thaddeus Franklin Jr. He literally runs someone over for 3 yards. Keep that in mind for all the 4th and 1s that we're about to see. So, Knighton, 18 yards. Georgia Tech, 16 for a first down. This is the start of the 4th quarter. Great play. This one's a counter play, basically. He gets the ball, and he just keeps, for no reason, everyone on Georgia Tech floods around. They all go way upfield, and he goes right through them. Good blocking. This is what the zone blocking scheme is supposed to do. Knighton runs it to perfection. But then we go back to it. Tries to run dive this time. Doesn't get anywhere. Okay. 1st and 10 on the 16. Haven't thrown it to the end zone yet. Here, Van Dyke throws it to Restrepo. He was looking to throw it anywhere else, but Restrepo runs, I think it was a stick route on steroids. And he's open, but he's like right on the sideline. And the guy's waiting for him because they were playing zone. Also, this was to the left. So the last play through the middle, play before that to the left side, we're stuck on the left hash mark here. And we decide to crunch the formation so that it's very, very tight. And there's literally only one person on the right side of the field, where field side. And you've got 3 guys all scrunched in really small spaces. Makes sense for Restrepo. Does not make sense for anybody else. And again, I don't see Harley anywhere on the field. I don't know why he's not running his out route, but he should have. 3rd and 8, intended for Charleston Rambo. This one was a designed rollout, which never fucking works with Van Dyke. And especially on a game where he's not hitting his mark when he's in the pocket outside of the hashes, making him run to throw on the run when he doesn't have his platform set up well, because he never does. Rollouts are not his friend. makes it even worse. I mean, he had Rambo. He had him. He didn't have to overthrow it. Quote unquote, felt pressure according to the commentators, who weren't bad, especially one being a Gator. I would have expected a lot worse. But why are you making him roll out? If he had to roll out because it wasn't there initially, that's different. But no, you said, we're going to roll you out to the field side finally put everybody out there. So you have plenty of space to overthrow him. Just so frustrating. So 27-28. Jalen Knighton, 3 yards, because we ran the same thing that we ran before. And I highlight it again because with Knighton, he's quick enough that he gets those extra 2 yards instead of, 1 with Cody Brown, because Cody Brown's not as quick. But again, no blocking by Mallory whatsoever. So superpower is fully charged. When are we going to use it? 2nd and 7. Jalen Knighton runs for 9 yards. First down. And this is him just fucking flying off the edge. And I believe he gets injured here too. Well, actually, no, I think it's right before this. So then Rambo, play action, throws it deep. Rambo drops it. Hit him in the hands. No, he did get hit right away because it was a little late, because I don't know what it was, but Van Dyke didn't get those passes out there snappy outside of the hashes. Something we saw with King last year. Not to the same extent, but still something to watch. But Rambo just doesn't bring it in. I mean, for a guy who had 210 yards of receiving, it just didn't seem like he had a really good game, So Harley did, though, 24 yards, Georgia Tech for a first down. Now, Harley can't block for shit, but Harley here gets just a quick hitch, breaks 2 tackles, keeps his head down, runs for 24 yards, and says, keep feeding me. I don't think he gets another pass for the rest of the game. Keyshawn Smith, though, 15 yards and a touchdown. Now, this kid, it was like he saw what Harley did and said, yeah, I got you. I can do this and more. And he fucking ran through 3 guys to get not just the first down. He already had the first down, but to just muscle his way into the end zone. Incredible stuff. Incredible fucking stuff. So it's 33-28. We decided to go for 2 because why not? That's what the card says. And what's the play call? It's a rollout. You called another roll. You watched him fuck it up the drive before, and you said, let's do it again. And this time he tries the same shit he tried with North Carolina, where he tries to throw back across his body to someone in the end zone. And not only does Mallory not catch the ball, the guy picks it off. Mallory doesn't even chase him, really. He's flat-footed, when the ball gets there. He gets returned for a touchdown. But the design was a designed rollout. That's the part that fucking pisses me off. You just watched it not work. The whole point of this strategy is to see what worked previously in the play, in the actual game that you're playing, and apply that as a tactic going forward. We could have run the superpower. We could have run the wham block that doesn't exist to the tight end, leak him out into the fucking, from the backfield, play action, flip it to him, 2-point conversion, and we're not having this discussion at all. Then it's an 8-point game, and we are golden. But you don't use it here. Why? I don't fucking know. Like I said, we didn't use it in the 4th down before. We didn't use it on the 2-point conversion here. So anyway, the strategy here, or rather lack of strategy here, is called the exchange. And so in this particular setup that we have here, Black decides to take this pawn. Why? Because then the bishop from White takes him, and then the other bishop from Black takes him in return. And you end up, Black gives up a rook, but gets a pawn and a bishop. Fine. Because the rook is typically seen as more valuable. Fine. But there are situations when you purposely give up the rook in exchange sacrifice. This is all from the same game, by the way, from 1953 or whatever. So earlier in the game, Black decides to give up 1 rook. Later in the game, he gives up the other rook on purpose because White here has an advantage. He's got the left side of the field the board is wide the fuck open, and he's got all sorts of stuff going in his favor. And Black purposely gives up his rook again, the other rook, and basically says, here you go, you can take it, White. White gives up its very strong knight that is in a great spot to basically control the left side of the board, gives him up, allows Black to take that one, and then doesn't matter what White does. Black takes that piece, the pawn as well, and just basically all of the good stuff that White had going for it, gives it up. And I bring this up because there is a difference between an exchange and exchange sacrifice. Exchange is who ends up with the better piece, they win. Exchange sacrifice, the person who ends up with the better piece may still lose. In this particular game, White lost after Black gave up both rooks for smaller pieces. I honestly can't tell you what the fuck happened in our game with Georgia Tech and Miami. I know that there was an exchange. I can't tell you who benefited from it, because from the rest of this game, I mean, that's the end game principle. For the rest of this game, it's 3 points. Miami's offense just decides to fucking give up. And I'm not talking about Lashley. I'm not talking about the strategy. From that point forward, giving up an 100-yard, 105-yard, whatever it was, return for 2 points, even though it was only 2 points, completely took the wind out of our sails. And from that point on, yeah, we still netted more points because we were losing. We scored the touchdown. We give them 2 points back. We're still up 3 points. But it doesn't feel like it, at least not when you're watching the offensive side of the ball. So we come out. This is the, I guess, improvement off of the really shitty formation that I didn't like. You still have your island, which is still, to me, very problematic, but it's okay. But you move the tight end off the line. And that's good because now you at least have your receivers next to the line, right on the line, so they can do their quick motions, their rub routes, whatever. And it has actual impact because the Georgia Tech guys have to worry about us getting those first downs, worry about us getting out into space, all of that. So it works with Rambo, 18 yards for first down. Play action, again, throws it at least 10 yards downfield, so the play action gets the linebackers up. And Rambo not only makes the catch, gets yards after the ball, after contact, doesn't fumble, biggest important thing for this game especially, and hits 210 yards for the day. Again, a monster stat line for him. It just, I felt like he could have had 300 yards on that day, on this day. Like he was that impressive. And Georgia Tech really couldn't stop him. Rambo only stopped himself. I would say that about the whole team, but in his particular case, even 210 yards seems just small or low for what he should have done. So here we go. 1st and 10, Georgia Tech 37-yard line. So already in their territory. And he runs off the edge, gets 4 yards because he's just gritting through it. He's already come out of the game before when Cody Brown was out there. That's why Jalen wasn't out there before. So let me go trips, 2nd and 6. And he runs for 5 yards. Again, great. But he gets just shy of the first down and can't quite get there. And he gets pummeled trying to get there. I just don't know why we don't run the screen here, right? Just for a change of pace. You're getting the same number of yardage. Jalen's already hurt. You might get 3 yards instead of 5, but either way, you have somebody else taking the punishment. You have the setup to the left. And again, I understand that you're reading the defense and you think this is a better option. Fine, wonderful. But now you have 3rd and 1, and you have Jalen run for no gain because he's getting the shit kicked out of him every play. And you go to this formation, a very standard formation, reasonable, 3rd and 1, okay? And he tries to run between the tackles and doesn't really get anywhere. All right, 4th and 1. You do the same formation. You flip the side that he's coming from, and again, runs for no gain to the 28. So you don't kick the 45-yarder to make it a 6-point game so that you don't have this opportunity for Georgia Tech to tie the game, right? It's only a 3-point game. You don't run the fucking play that you've been setting up all game with tight end in the backfield as an H-back, Mallory. He doesn't block anybody. He just runs to the flat where no one's going to fucking follow him because you haven't thrown that play yet, and you don't get the first down. You run this play instead. Makes no fucking sense. If you're going to do this play, at least put Tad Franklin out there because the kid literally bullied a linebacker to the ground and then kept going. And all you need is 1 yard. If you don't think he can bully his way for 1 yard, that's what he is going to be great at. And I know he's got speed too, and but it's power. It's his size that makes a big difference when you have Rooster, who already injured his arm earlier in the game, had a ton of pain, kept fighting through it, but he's clearly not 100%. This is the same shit that led to all of your other guys getting hurt and having less than stellar performances and people getting on their asses. And it's the coach's fault for keeping him in there. because you already played Tad earlier. You already set up the play action pass. You already had your kicker. I mean, he missed from 40 because he hit the post, but like all of this shit, this one is on Manny Diaz. I know that we're going for it, this and that, being aggressive. It's because Rhett doesn't give a damn. And it's very appropriate because we're playing a team from Atlanta. Go watch Gone with the Wind. Actually, don't. Just ask your great-grandparents about it or whatever. It's not that great a movie. But Rhett Lashley doesn't give a damn. He will go for it every fucking time if you let him. Manny knows this. And Manny goes for it this time, but doesn't make sure to say, hey, why are we not kicking the field goal? Hey, why are we not doing the things that put our team in the best position to win? Because it's Manny Diaz. This is the Manny Diaz what the fuck moment of this game that he's had in every other game this season, that you just go, you're setting us up for failure. And he's setting himself up for failure. Like, he doesn't give a shit about me. But the point is that there are head coaching decisions in every game that he fucks up. And it only has to be one, because when it's bad, it's really bad. This could have been really bad. It didn't end up that way, but it could have. And if you're going to go this route with the Rhett don't give a damn approach, then Lashley, you have a lot of options at your disposal, and you didn't use any of them. Again, third time, didn't use them. So we get the ball back, 13-yard line. Oh, hey, one play and about 10 minutes late, look at this fucking formation. 9-yard pass to Will Mallory from the 13-yard line to the Miami 22. Now you decided to do the play action, toss it out to Mallory in the flat for 9 yards. Great play design, Lashley. You were fucking hinting at it the entire game. When it mattered, you didn't run it. You only ran it here. So fucking annoying. That's the play, guys. Go back and look at it. 2:39 in the fourth quarter. Watch that play. Watch it 10 times and ask yourself, why the fuck didn't we run it at all the rest of the game? We ran it one time before that to Arroyo, who then fumbled on the play, but that was good for 19 yards. And then we faked it 3 times for, I think, 4 yards of total offense from our running backs. And then when we needed 1 yard, 3 goddamn times, didn't run it. So then we have Arroyo out here, and he runs for 7 yards because they, again, run Arroyo backside. This one, they hit Van Dyke instead of going after the running back because they knew they weren't going to get to him, and he hit him anyway just in case he was doing a play action pass. Fair enough. But again, Arroyo runs across the formation. Could have been, well, maybe not wide open because they blitzed, but again, he was running across the formation, not actually blocking for the running back because we're setting up the play again. Wonderful. But then 1st and 10, because we did get 7 yards there. 1st and 10, run 7 yards again. And this one, eye candy, right up the gut. Okay, nice. Now they're going to tighten up because of 2nd and 3. We run basically the same setup, but on the other side, and he gets 2 yards. He almost gets the first down, and Knighton gets just absolutely annihilated again from the backside. So then 3rd and 1, we go big. We have Arroyo there, and we decide to run for no gain. The play is there to run again. The one play that we've been hinting at all game, the fucking money play to get that first down. You ran it against Pittsburgh to get the first down. You ran it to get not even a first down. You ran it on a first down play to get 9 yards. You ran on the first down play before that in the first quarter for 19 yards, but it was a fumble. You're not using it the way it should be used. It's right there. Arroyo leaks onto the side. All he has to do is get 1 yard. And the game is over. Nope. Instead, no push up front. And it's, again, they didn't get Mallory's on the right side trying to kind of block and keep anybody from flooding in. They came right around, untouched. I'm not saying that Mallory didn't block anybody, but there were too many guys there. You know what you do there? You play action, and everybody's blitzing from that side. It's wide the fuck open. Why am I so frustrated with this? Because this easily could have been a 50 burger on Georgia Tech. This easily could have been an embarrassment for Georgia Tech that gets their coach fired right away. I don't think he's a bad coach. I think he's got a shit setup, but we should never have been this close in this game. And I say that because the defense ends up bailing us out, as they do. And I'm glad that they did. But also the defense almost didn't bail us out. Really, the refs bailed us out. they actually did their job correctly. 3 bad snaps in a row from the backup center for Georgia Tech is the one who won us that game in the fourth quarter because he kept snapping it badly. There was no way for Georgia Tech to actually do anything. And great, wonderful. So glad that we managed to squeak one out against a team that is struggling to break 3 wins in a season again. So, guys, we have all the fucking tools at our disposal, but nobody is going to make this easy for us. Least of all, Florida State. They're not going to make it easy for us at all. And if we're going to show up and do stupid shit, strategically stupid shit, to fuck around in order to find out, we almost fucked around and found out against Georgia Tech. Again, for no reason. There were very specific strategies employed throughout the game by Lashley to set up for the perfect play call, the perfect time. And we had 3 of those moments, and he didn't use them. He didn't use his perfect strategy. He didn't deploy it at any of those perfect moments. He decided to use it on a first down from the 13-yard line after he fucked up the 3 prior times. It's absolutely mind-boggling. So I did say last week that if we cleaned up our red zone offense, we would be much better. We kind of cleaned up our red zone offense. Not really. We're still 80th in the country in actual red zone conversion. The fact that there are worse ACC teams doesn't mean shit. We are 80th in the country for converting inside the red zone. We are our own worst enemy. It's not FSU. It's not fucking, I don't know, Alabama, Michigan State. We are our own worst enemy, always and forever. But these are easy tweaks. These are to like flip a switch and we'll drop 60 points on Florida State. No problem. Not even breaking a sweat. We'll put out our fucking backups on backups on backups. And again, these kids, Thad Franklin's going to run over fucking 5 guys if he gets enough game time against Florida State. Again, as the backups. It's going to look like Central Connecticut State out there. I'm guaranteeing that. I mean, I know Coop had his diss rap, whatever, all the silliness. I'm hyped for it, but I can just see it. We always walk this knife edge for no fucking reason. We don't get our head on straight from a coaching perspective. As soon as that happens, guys, you watch out. Not only will we light up Florida State, but we'll be in a position to run the rest of the table, beat Virginia Tech, beat Duke. And who knows? Maybe the football gods will be benevolent to us and we'll actually pull off a fucking shocker and get to the Coastal and get to go to the ACC championship. I don't know. But whatever happens, I'll be reviewing it next week. As always, go Canes, and I'll see you all next time.